Hey friends, schedules change and life happens. Well, Monetizing Mompreneurs for the remaining of this year in 2024 is going to be a bi-weekly podcast. So basically it's one Tuesday, I'm posting. The next one is going to be, you're going to wait for the next week. You get what I'm saying? So thank you so much for coming on this journey. Let's see what this next year has for 2025. I hope that you enjoy your holiday season. Love that you're following along. Love that you're here. You're here for a reason. You have purpose. You have a calling, and I'm here to help you on that call. Right now, the reason why the podcast is the way it is because I'm focused on launching my template shop. Lord willing, it will be launched in these next following weeks or in the new year, one of the two. But I am so excited about it. It's Show It templates, Flowdesk templates, and Canva templates that will be available. And along with, if you're in the society, you'll have access to many of the items on the shop within the society. That's right. So stick along with me. I'm here to help you on your journey through strategy, design, marketing, and inspiration, motivation, and keeping God first.
God made you. No one else can do it like you, can look like you, can walk and talk like you. And one thing in business, especially because we have that thing that April and I don't like, social media, we see, okay, so there's 50,000 government contracting coaches online, but there's only one Kendra Nix. So I am going to do it differently because I know the talents that he gave me to teach April, to teach Amy, to teach Grace. Somebody else may have thousands of followers, may have more knowledge. However, they may teach it differently that you can't understand.
Hello, welcome to Monetizing Mompreneurs podcast, where I take you behind the scenes with industry leaders, entrepreneurs, moms, working professionals, and amazing people pursuing their passions and going for their dreams. And I'm your host, Linda Mendable. Hi, it's Linda, and I would absolutely love if you can give us a review, whether it's on Spotify, iHeart, or Apple. I want to know if this podcast is resonating with you. Do you love the podcast? I would love to hear from you. So please leave us a review. It helps me know if I am in the right area to serve you. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in. Everyone. We are streaming live in Monetizing Mompreneurs Facebook group. We have amazing questions for our panelists today. But before we get into that, I want to ask you guys to introduce yourself and what you do and what was your free item and your VIP item. I'm sorry, my voice. Amy, go ahead, kick it off.
I'm going to test my memory here on what the free and paid item were. But my name is Amy Circa. I am a money confidence coach, and I work with female entrepreneurs to figure out the money thing, to ditch the financial stress, struggle, and frustration, to truly step into your unstoppable life. I know we gave the cash flow calculator was one of the free gifts. And then in the pro bundle, or in the paid bundle, I think I gave the Prosperity Simplified, which is my business budgeting system to help you simply budget for prosperity.
Amen. Amen. I'm sorry. Something went down the wrong place when I was drinking something, so I apologize. But Kendra, can you tell us about you and your free offer and your VIP offer?
All right, too easy. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kendra Nix. I'm a wife, a mom, business owner, and I am your GovCon bestie. So my passion that I found while driving for UPS is government contracts. And I realized there was, for me here, a gap in people knowing about it and finding valuable resources to help them. So that's why I started my side consulting business to help women-owned small businesses learn how to use their talents and resources to sell it to the federal government. Uncle Sam spends billions of dollars a year. And just think about it, you getting a 0.5% of that billions of dollars can change and do wonders for someone's family. So my free offer, my memory is working this morning, is my ebook. It's called Sell It to Uncle Sam, Mommy. In a nutshell, basically breaks down the steps to get started working with the federal government, and also some templates in there to help you get started and just step by step information for you. And then my big offer is a more comprehensive how to get started with working with the federal government. Plus, you get a 30-minute phone call with me so I can answer any questions that you have one-on-one. Because for me, I'm that type of person. I can read all day. I can do this all day. I can see a PDF. But until I actually talk to someone and say, well, Kendra, did I understand this correctly? Then I won't really comprehend sometimes. I'm a mom. So my brain is everywhere. So sometimes having that person just to piggyback on your thoughts is great. So I put that 30 minutes in there to help moms like me who get that mom foggy brain understand government contracting and how they can use their talents to sell it to Uncle Sam, Mom.
Amen. And Kendra, you are in our community in Monetizing Mompreneur Society. You're one of our coaches in there. We're kicking off, it's still new. And so I've been doing different things with it, but we're definitely have a game plan moving forward and into next year. But anyways, Kendra, thank you for sharing. April, last but not least, April. And April is so amazing. I love what she has to offer. And her website is incredible because she was my client.
Yes, my website is incredible. So hello, everybody. My name is April Brown. I am an entrepreneur. I've been doing this now for a couple of years. So I'm in the financial industry. And what I do in a nutshell is help you take all the money that you created in your working years and turn it into a retirement paycheck. How do you do that? And so that's where I thrive at. I love the financial industry. I love the information that I've learned and gleaned. And I'm just like, wait, what? They do that? How do they do that? That's really cool. So from that, my two offers, my free and my VIP. So my free offer is a webinar. So if you can see behind me, I have Captain April Brown. I'm a retired law enforcement after 28 years of service. Those are the folks that I tend to work with. I can work with everybody else, but my niche is that. And so a lot of my language, especially if you watch a webinar, will have that. But please, if you watch it, watch it. It's still great information that you can get out of it. Know that. And so the VIP offer is my business owner seminar. So I have a coach and a mentor and my colleague. We work together. We put this business seminar on. And it's for folks who, 3 years in the mix and you're trying to figure out what to do. And so it just talks about what you can do, what to be thinking about, what's your exit strategy, that kind of thing. So that's my VIP offer.
Amen. Okay. So we did ChatGPT yesterday. And so these questions are from ChatGPT. So don't think that I'm trying to put you guys on the spot. That's ChatGPT. So blame it all on ChatGPT. So Dallas helped me pull up some of these questions, and we're going to go ahead and do kind of like a popcorn, So I'm going to have one person or, each of you can, you can either pass and pass it on to someone else. You can answer it and after you answer it, popcorn to someone else to maybe answer it. And we're going to go on and you can even include Dallas and myself as well. All right. So can you share your journey into the world of online entrepreneurship and digital marketing? And what were some of the key moments that have shaped your career? That's a good question. So I'm going to kick it to Kendra. You look like you were ready to answer. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it off.
So getting into the online business space has been one of those, I would say, crazy roller coaster rides, because one thing that we have at us is the access to so much information. Information overload is a thing. And we also have this thing, all of us do, the squirrel syndrome. You're like, well, let me see. Oh, but she said if I could do this way, I'm gonna do it. But he said, so we get all over the place with that. When I started, that was me. I'll be the first one to admit that was me. Then I really honed into what I wanted to learn about and really understand. Like I said before, hey, I was driving for UPS, listening to how to do government contracts. What does Kendra Nix need to do government contracts? And that's when I got that tunnel focus because I said, let me cut out this noise. Let me cut out this noise. I'm not going to buy that program. I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars on another PDF program. I'm not going to spend more money on someone to ghost me and say, yeah, I sent you the information, but this is it. You know how much I just spent. So like I tell all my friends and family, before you try business, call me. I may know or may have something because I've been there, done that. The online business marketing space is one because especially with marketing, I'll tell people any day when it comes to social media, I'm there because they say I have to be there. I have to have that presence, but I'm a people person. I like to touchy feely, I like to see people. That's me. So I have to do social media because it's a necessary evil. But if I didn't have to, it'll be great. Once I find that perfect social media manager, I'm going to leave it all to him or her and call it a day. One thing that really has shaped my passion to keep going and continue on is family, providing for my family, giving them opportunities because, we have a family business. So like right before I hopped on, I had to tell a young lady she was calling about a bid. I was like, call you back. I was like, wait a minute, you're whispering, but you're on mute. But needless to say, it also helps family and showing the kids like, hey, there are opportunities out there for you because kids are always looking at us. Even when we don't think they are understanding and grasping what they do, they'll say, well, didn't you do ABCD? Like, how would you know? So family is a big part of my life because it's, God, then family first. And after that, everything falls into place. So I'm going to pass it to Amy.
Thank you, Kendra. Okay. So let's see. The entrepreneur space, been doing this now for over 12 years. The online portion was 7 years ago. And there was a lot that happened along the way that, I started initially into entrepreneurship to be able to spend time with my son. I was a young single mom. Was like, I wanted to be there in the everyday moments. Like my boss was great. I could get off for parties, but that wasn't what I wanted. I wanted to be there in the everyday moments. But along the way, there was so many different things that happened from I had left my job. My second was born. He was in the NICU for 7.5 weeks. And during that time, I created a story that I had failed my family because I hadn't hit the income goal that I had achieved. Well, it was never about the income goal. It was about the time with my family. And that sparked the focus on working on the mindset. And I was online by that point and going through that. And like Kendra talked about, the shiny object syndrome. But there's also another level of not trusting yourself and trusting that you have all the things that you need. It's not that you're missing something. It's just fine tuning or tweaking. So going through the process of working through the money mindset and working through stepping into my own power and understanding like where things are at. And, it doesn't matter. We're not going to create this life of butterflies and rainbows, right? Like there's always going to be something that comes up. But in those moments, what do we do when that comes up? And showing that, like Kendra said again, like to my kids, like they're watching me. And Linda, I think it might have been when we recorded we were supposed to record our first podcast episode this year. I had like I don't know if we want to call it like a breakdown, a come to Jesus moment, some combination in there of like, you know what, this specific area, like what kind of example am I still setting for my kids by allowing this to continue? So I feel like it's been a process of owning my power, and that's really shifted along the way and created the passion. I mean, the circumstances and the medical crisis and things that we've gone through definitely sparked my passion for the finances. But it's really fine-tuned along the way. And it's not just about the numbers. It's about our mindset and the way that we approach things and our thoughts and feelings and emotions and what we do, as opposed to like, we can have this perfect budget put in place. And I think I'm doing this for my kids. and then the ripple effect, because I know there's so many other people out there that are beating themselves up or feeling bad about things that they shouldn't within their money. And I don't like to use the word shouldn't, but we shouldn't, because it's not serving us, and we can do better. And how free are they when they're set free, how their family approves, who they can impact? Because I work with entrepreneurs, that endless ripple effect there as well. All right, I'll pass it over to you, April.
Okay, so let me just say this. Since I kicked off my business, I am not a fan of social media. Before I even kicked off my business, while I was in law enforcement, my coworkers and my, officers would be like, Captain, do you have a social media account? No. Are you gonna get one? No. You should get one. No. So when I retired and came into this business, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I gotta have this. And they were like, yes, you've got to be seen. People want to know, like you, and trust you. And I was like, okay, not a fan. So initially when I kicked off, I hired somebody to run my social media. I worked on my website. I've worked on it 3 times. Linda is the charm. For those of you that don't know, she is the charm. And so I was like, this is driving me nuts. So the social media piece is like just getting traction in that. It's not getting traction in that. So it has been more downs than ups for me in reference to this whole thing. However, the point for me is where does my passion lie and what's really important? And that's what I have to align with. And that's what I have to really connect with. And for me, I do like the finances. And I understand, especially for people who look like me, that if we don't understand our finances, how can we move further? How can we move beyond? How can you create the legacy that you want to create for your family if you don't understand bare bone basic stuff about finances? And so that's been a driving force. And no matter who I'm talking to and who I meet, I'm just talking to folks. And so some of it really is, I do like to talk to people. I had to do it when I was in my job capacity. I had to be able to be like, hello, I'm Captain April Brown. How are you today? So tell me what's been going on in your world. And people are just like, oh, so social media is like, for me, it's like living your life out loud in a way. But that's my thought process on it. And I know that I have to get beyond that and get past that in order to really do what I need to do, because I know it's important. And so for me to start that, what I ended up doing was going into the YouTube channel. I loved it. I started recording and I was like, oh, I like this. This is really cool. And so, I just get to be myself and just, I cuss a lot, but I'm going to be on my best behavior on this, summit. I am not going to use a curse word. So I'm just telling you that up front. But if you watch my videos, you're going to be like, good Lord, she's got a potty mouth. So just overall, yeah, this social media game and this marketing game, whoa, just trying to market yourself is a whole nother ball of wax. And I have a really good friend of mine who was our kind of our PR person when I was at the police department. And so she and I connected and we've remained connected. And, just recently I got to send her an email with my information. She's getting ready to help me with my marketing piece because I'm just kind of trying to figure out how to integrate that in, my YouTube channel and that kind of thing, and just kind of be out and seen. So this is definitely quite the ride. So I'll say that. And, I'll kick it back to Linda.
Yes. So I've learned a lot when it comes to online marketing and when it comes to entrepreneurship. And I have learned that there's 2 types of marketing. So there's marketing that brings about engagement, right? That brings about, a lot of like responsiveness and, and stuff like that. Like when you post, there's a whole bunch of comments. And then there's another type of marketing that you get clients with, right? Sometimes you can merge the two and it amplifies, and it could double down and stuff like that. So when I am visible on social media and I'm consistent on social media, I got a whole bunch of engagement, and these
we have packed, like we have a whole bunch of people joining us, but I have not been on social media. Now, when it comes to that other part of marketing, which is having clients, that's really kind of like more of a long form type of content than it is just being visible. When you're visible, just people just want quick and fast and everything like that. So it's more engagement, it's more, and people are showing up more, to places like this. When it's kind of like more of a long form, people are on the podcast, people are on the blog, are on the website. I've had more listens being off of social media than being on the social media for my podcast. But that's also targeted to potential clients and clientele. So it's kind of like, so you got to play the field kind of like, because people love engagement. Well, if there's no engagement, then is it valuable, right? When people see that engagement. This is the thing when it comes to engagement is, for instance, I have a globally ranked 10% podcast, right? But the thing about it is I don't ask for reviews. And because I don't ask for reviews, I only got like 8 reviews on it, which I'm going to now start asking for reviews. Because I'm like, I know I can see the listeners, but is this being impactful? And so the next thing that I'm going to be doing coming in this October is at the end, adding that engagement portion. So a good call to action is like necessary when it comes to social media, and when you're being visible on social media. So those are because, so when you're not being on social media as much, people don't have kind of like that FOMO. But if you want to create FOMO, you want people to show up in certain places that you're going to be showing up in, you're on social media consistently so you can see people and people are like, yeah, and I got this and I got that. And people can, have that energy. It's kind of like building that momentum. So that's what I've learned in my digital marketing and entrepreneurship journey. Like there's really 2 forms of marketing. And the thing about it is engagement doesn't necessarily bring you clients, but the long form will bring you clients, but it won't bring you engagement. That's the weird thing about it. That is so weird, right? I don't know. You guys, that's what I've learned about online marketing. But if you merge the 2, then you get both engagement and both clients, and it just boosts. This is more boost, And I've learned this because I went through recently, I couldn't really show up on social media because of things that are happening in my life. So I wasn't, this season, I was not able to show up. During the seasons that I have been able to show up, it's crazy. It's crazy. So that's how I learned this one. This like, oh my gosh, there's 2 forms. There's social media being live, because live is a big deal. And like, let's say leading up to this, if I would have been live in my Facebook group leading up to this, oh yeah, we would have been on and popping because people are more like, oh, what's going on here? Because people miss it, right? You need kind of like 8 touch points for people to be like, okay, let me click on that and let me participate in that when it comes. So you got to remember, people forget quickly on social media, right? So if you posted 8 times and then you give up, well, you're not, that could have been the ninth time you posted, you could have seen that engagement, And I think we give up before we get that diamond, right? That's my experience. Dallas, how about you?
Yeah, hi. Sorry, I'm like sorting things out over here. So question was kind of how I got started, right? Well, I'm really new. I'm really, really new. Linda was my first client, and it's been a really fun adventure. I've been loving it. A lot of learning, a lot of trial and error, a few mistakes. A few mistakes, but she always gives me grace, which I like really appreciate. Been a learning process. I started because I still bartend. I'm a bartender, but I have, well, he'll be 2 next Saturday. And I wanted to be home with him more because I was working in the evenings and I was never home for dinner. And I'm like, I enjoy my job, but I don't enjoy being away from my son so much. So I'm kind of transitioning to working less in person and working more online. And it's made a difference. Thanks, Amy. I enjoy it. I enjoy the being home more and just having more flexibility. Yeah. So right now I'm still doing both. Eventually I will probably transition to only being online, being a virtual assistant or wherever this journey takes me. But it's been a lot of fun so far.
Amen. Thank you for sharing, Dallas. Dallas has been rocking and rolling. You guys been seeing her emails. And look, she's new, right? Wow. Maybe I'm a good teacher. I don't know. No, just kidding. That's all. That's all her. I actually just drop it on her and she figures it out. So That's my teaching method. Hey, figure it out. But we have someone that's joined us, Grace. Grace was here yesterday. Grace, if you are willing to turn on your camera, you can share with us. That would be wonderful. If not, no worries. Yep, there's Grace. Come on, Grace, share with us. Yeah, you're part of the panel, girl.
Honorary member, thank you. Sorry, I was eating a quick brunch. But yeah, thanks for letting me join in. Do you just want me to say how I got started or?
Absolutely. Answer the same thing. We're all mompreneurs here. I know you're new as well. So yeah, tell us about you.
Yeah, cool. So I hopped on yesterday. For those of you who weren't there, I explained that I'm a mompreneur to be. I'm expecting my first in a couple weeks now. It's crazy to say. So yeah, I'm just like joining and learning and soaking up all the knowledge I can from all of you who are just ahead of the game and both in business and in motherhood. Because I really just have a huge heart for helping people, serving people with the gifts and passions and experiences I believe God has given me. But at the same time, I don't want to place my family on the altar of business, which I just see so much. So it's really encouraging to me just to see you all kind of share how, like, the ins and outs of both personal, professional, how you make your business work for you rather than be trapped in like a model that makes you resent your business, which happens a lot. For me, I'm a course creator, content creator, and also life and emotional health coach. Me and my husband are husband and wife team. We do it together. He does more like one-on-ones, and I do more of the group coaching and the course creation, content creation piece. He's also in the corporate realm as well, so we're kind of juggling two streams at the same time. But it's been good. I think God's been so gracious in just leading us and guiding us. We are pretty early on in our entrepreneurship journey. So similar to Dallas, I can relate. I made so many mistakes, but I think it was Amy, you were talking about mindset. I really am thankful for how this journey has been growing me so much in my mindset in ways I didn't even know I needed, like confidence, limiting beliefs, fear of people's opinions, feeling like I'm not cut out for this. What am I doing? And just breaking through so much. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And right now I'm in an interesting place where I'm kind of working on pivoting our business model to make it more work for our next season of when I'm a newborn and I'm, I have unpredictable schedules. I can't be on like weekly calls and stuff. So yeah, just trying to experiment and also have grace for myself to adjust and not necessarily like measure myself by the immediate outcomes, which is hard.
Thank you for sharing, Grace, because I think when we're in the beginning of our journey or in the middle of our journey, to be honest, there's always going to be like hardships. There's always going to be something that's going on. Like you're going to have good times and you're going to have low times. It's going to be riding the wave and setting up kind of like guardrails. So when those hard times come, you know how to handle them, right? Because sometimes maybe you can't show up. So just having the seasons, like if you have a schedule that you already planned out, it's a lot easier to kind of like show up and do the thing when you have a game plan and whether you're scared and you committed to yourself, whether you're scared or not, that you're going to show up in the way that you're meant to show up. But I know that, people sometimes we get caught up with the grind. Like I gotta post this next thing. I gotta make sure I'm consistent. I gotta make sure I'm this. I gotta make sure I'm that. But really, there's a way that you can do online marketing and entrepreneurship that's a lot easier than falling into the trap of that FOMO. And that's really being intentional with your time. I mean, because for one, I'm a Christian. So for one, I know that the only way that I'll get through life is with God. And the only one who's going to set me up high is God. So I need to make that sacred time with God always and every single day, more important than business, more important than everything in my life, basically, because he'll make everything fall into place. And I know that. And I went through a season that God showed me like, listen, you're here because you were not putting me first. You thought you were, because sometimes we get caught up like, but I'm doing it for you, Lord. Matthew 24, what it says. Like, we've cast out demons in your name. We did this in your name. We did that. And then Jesus says to them, I never get away from you. I never knew you. Because it's not because of our own strength, right? We're not meant to do things like thinking that we're doing something for God, the creator of the universe, the Almighty, we're doing something really for him. No, we're probably doing things for our own glory and our own stuff, unless we put him first and put him on the altar of our hearts so he can really show us like, okay, and really make those connections. Like my podcast was all God, and he connected me with the right people. And I think, and like I said, I haven't even showed up like I usually do on social. And I've had more listeners than when I did show up on social. So there's things like that. Like he'll take care of certain things. He'll press things on people's hearts to share your content or to share what you're doing. And he'll even grow your page without you even trying, because you understand where your power is from. It's not from you yourself. It's from God, the creator. So that's me, like, because I was hustling. I was doing all this, and boom, he'll catch you in the middle of that. If you haven't placed him first. That's my experience.
Are you about to start preaching on a call today?
I know, right? We're going to have church up in here, right? all right, Dallas, go ahead and put the acoustics on.
I want to actually ask a question kind of related to that. Well, first of all, yes, oh my gosh, I think that's one of the biggest things I've been learning related to like trusting yourself and, not needing to do all the things that you see everybody else doing, which is so hard because I think especially when you're first starting out, again, I'm like pretty new. We only launched our business technically like a little over a year ago, so we're still pretty new. But yeah, I think just growing up, a lot of people tell you like, oh, this is the way to do things. So you have this like very clear formula to follow. And entrepreneurship is like it's like the Wild West. Like everybody, you have a different strategy and approach, and different things work for every person differently. And then you layer on top of that, like God, like sometimes he doesn't want you to do things conventionally, oftentimes. And so I wanted to ask all of you, like whoever wants to answer, like what has helped you the most to really not just discover, but really like grow in your confidence in like, I don't need to do that, even though everyone else is telling me I should do it. I'm going to do this specific thing my way. Cause I don't know, I catch myself, kind of going back and forth easily of like doubting, like maybe I'm not being strategic enough, and I need to do all those best practices, but it can be really overwhelming. So
I'll say this to that question. Before rolling into this profession, I came from a profession where I was always front and center in a lot of ways. My personality is very strong. I don't take no for an answer. And I'm into fairness, and I'm a person who wants to see people be treated fairly and treat people fairly. And really do expect for you to treat me fairly. And if you don't, then there's going to be a problem. So confidence wise, I'd already, a lot of that's been baked in through the years of me getting to the position that I got to. So when I retired and rolled into financial services, what was a stretch and a lot of work for me was to learn something new that I did not know anything about. One, two, how does my confidence and who I am play into all of this? And so that was a struggle, and it took a little bit. And then the guy who trained me and who was my mentor, has been my mentor, said to me, you've got the skills. You got the skills and you got the chops to do this. You just don't know that you can do this yet because you're coming from a profession where you did it for 28 years. And so, nobody can tell me anything about this. I know what I'm doing with my eyes closed. So probably this year, something happened and it was like my aha moment where I went, oh, I do have what I need. I mean, I have the skills and I have the knowledge. And so it's just applying it into the financial services industry, which is it's just different. And I'm learning, and all the things that I have learned, I was able to just, confidently have a conversation with somebody and say, listen, blah, 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 blah. Cause I've always been the kind of person who I don't have to know it all, but what I have to have are resources. And so I pulled my resources and was like, hey, I need this information. Can you get it to me? And they got it to me. And so know that just because you don't know it all doesn't mean that you have to know it all. What you have to have are resources and people that you can touch bases with to say, hey, look, this is what I'm looking for. Can you provide this information for me? And in the process, ask questions, really dial it down for yourself so you understand what you're talking about. So when you go back to whoever you're talking to, you can have that conversation and know that at some point in time, you're going to wake up and be like, well, thank you so very much. I'm good. And be okay with that. So don't stress about not having the confidence is going to come. I think that it comes. It comes when you're comfortable, not with how much you know, with how comfortable you are with what you know. And even if you don't know all, or you're not, sure of all, you can pull the information and get the information from somebody else. So, don't stress about that because that'll, give you gray hair and it'll make you be like, so yeah, that's my answer to that.
And I'll piggyback on that too. When it comes to confidence, God made you. No one else can do it like you, can look like you, can walk and talk like you. And one thing in business, especially because we have that thing that April and I don't like, social media. You know, we see, okay, so there's 50,000 government contracting coaches online, but there's only one Kendra Nix. So I am going to do it differently because I know the talents that he gave me to teach April, to teach Amy, to teach Grace. Somebody else may have thousands of followers, may have more knowledge. However, they may teach it differently that you can't understand. But you find Kendra, because she posted one time on Threads and on Instagram. She got that one YouTube video. You found her. You're like, wait a minute, let me reach out to her. And you clicked. Guess what? That talent that you have works for that person. We're not here to serve everybody. Sorry. We can't. We may try because that's what we're put up against when we see social media and that shiny diamond syndrome. We're like, oh, I got to serve everybody. I'm not meant to serve you. So you'll get that confidence, you'll get that know-how, that determination, that grit when it comes to who you're supposed to serve. Look, I would love to serve millions. If that's what he has in my future for me to serve million, bring it on because he's going to bring all the resources, the people, everything that goes along with it. But if he say, Kendra, if your job with your consulting business is just to serve these small groups and hone in on these people with your talent, that's all you're meant to do. I know social media says you got to serve everybody. You got to go out there and be the Beyonce of government contracting. I mean, we can dance alike, but it may not be for me to be in her area. I don't want to be her background dancer. I want to be on the mic. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at it like that. And once you do, you understand that, hey, yeah, so-and-so got thousands of followers. But guess what? I want to serve the people he served. He or she may be serving, they may be focusing on, let's see, an industry, construction. Hey, you come to me and you say, I want to start a construction business with the government. What? That's not for me. No. Like, I know parts of it, but the construction industry with the government is a whole ball game that I don't know about. So I'll say, the guy I learned from, you might want to go to his YouTube channel because I ain't got nothing for you over here. So you just have to know who you're meant to serve. And when you know who you're meant to serve, that confidence is going to come and they'll see that through you. And they'll be like, Grace, like, where have you been hiding after I done spent thousands of dollars? Here you are. Like, why didn't you show up? Because I don't like social media like that. So that's my tidbit on that.
I want to add something to that as well. I love everything that April and Kendra said, but I know from a tactical standpoint, there's been two really core things that have helped with this over time. And the first is learning human design. So, we're all created uniquely. We're all created in his image, but we're all created uniquely. And learning about human design really helped to show my strengths. And you really see like, okay, hey, this is why these things happen. These are some of the things that I'm more susceptible to maybe conditioning in. And the second would be EFT, emotional freedom technique, tapping and deconditioning that way, because we can work on our mindset. And we can talk about the fact that like, we know that the people that are supposed to be working with us are here and trusting in that perfect timing. We're not looking at like the followers, and we're not worried about, like, for me, I know that like I don't have to be on social media. Like it's not a requirement. And I can show up and I can show and do things in the way that feels aligned and when it feels aligned, but trusting in the fact that it's all in his perfect plan anyway. So it doesn't matter what I do. Like I can't like muscle power this into wherever, but that took a process and working through emotional triggers. We were talking, I was trying to remember who was speaking, but we were talking about like the conditioning growing up and like we learned in school, like tell me what to do. So well, then we came here and we're in the entrepreneur space and we're doing these things. We run our own business, but we're running around going, tell me what to do, tell me what to do. And we have to remove that trigger, those responses. And emotional freedom technique, like tapping has been huge on that. We can do like breath work. The mindset work is a piece of it. So we can like logically know and continuing to work on our mindset and embracing those confidence and trusting in ourselves. But then the emotional aspect as well, those triggers that are in place and the trauma and removing those, whether it's big T trauma or little T trauma, it doesn't, regardless, we're still having those emotional responses and helping to nervous system regulation work. And doing that helps you truly own that power faster. And then you're able to step into a place of trust that like it's going to work out the way that it's supposed to work out. And then when you can trust in yourself and you can trust in your creator, the FOMO and the shiny object syndrome doesn't show up as much because you're able to sit and listen like, okay, is this really like I teach like a 24-hour rule and some of those things. A lot of us are emotional authorities is what that's called within human design, about 50% of the population. So we're not supposed to make decisions instantly. We're supposed to sit with it. And really, we should be doing that anyways to really hear what we're supposed to be doing and to feel that peace. Because if it's a decision that you're supposed to make, there's going to be a calm. Even if you're a little like anxious and nervous about like making that next big step, there's still like a calm that's there. And you can hear that when we've done the other work to remove the trauma and to remove those triggers that are showing up. And then you can really hear yourself and you can hear when our father's talking to us. Like you hear those things better when we remove that. So that's what I wanted to add on.
I also want to add, Grace, look, you got a whole panel 2 days in a row with entrepreneurs that are doing big things, that are growing their email list. You got us all here. There's been so many signups for it. But you are here. And I feel as though maybe God provided this space specifically special for you. Like he can move mountains and he parted the sea for you, girl. If you can't see that, I don't know. This has never, when I've hosted events, this has never happened that we only have panelists and we don't have like at least 20 people joining us. Seriously. But we also have the podcast. So this is going to be on the podcast because I always like love honoring my speakers. I love honoring the people that join us. I always want to bring visibility to, that's my goal because I'm a web designer. So my goal is for people to gain visibility, right? I love online marketing, but in a way that is good for you. There's so many ways of doing things, but you got to understand your personality that like Amy was talking about. April knows her personality. So she knows she's great on video. And she makes an impact there. Kendra, she is the Beyonce of government contracts. She's going to be the lead dancer, not the backup. Hello. That was the lead vocalist. That was good, by the way. That made everybody crack. I'm sure the listeners too. But like there's so many ways of growing the business. Like for me, I could look at this moment and be like, oh my gosh, I'm a failure. We don't got 20x speaker, we don't got 20x people joining us here. But the thing about it is I have other analytics. Please know your analytics. I have other analytics that knows that my blog and my podcast maximizes my reach in a way that, our speakers will get some exposure, which is visibility is key. And so going up into like things like this, like a summit, and having that opportunity to be more visible to the people that you're meant for is the way to go. Like Grace, you may be impressed by, hey, this is kind of cool. This is kind of, and you might come into my world, and I may be the one to serve you in some capacity. You see, like, you never know, right? You never know or you might be like, shoot, government contracts. I want to know more about that. Beyonce, Kendra, or with the finances, Amy and April, whichever direction you're going to go. I don't, remember the audience of one. I always think about like, if I reach that one person, if I can make that impact on that one person, it was worth it, And so Amy says, my best client came from a webinar where she was the only one on live. We've been working together for over 3 years now. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Like I met April, not on social media, and she was my client, And so you never know where you might meet that person, that one, and it will be in unconventional ways. So always know that your marketing efforts are never a dull, and it's like, does a tree that falls in the wood, right? Doesn't make a sound. It's almost like that, right? It doesn't make a sound, right? If there's someone there to hear it, I believe it it will. I don't know. I don't know if that was the right context for that one, but you get what I'm saying? Like, just show up and show up in the place that you're meant to, and get into places like this where people are like, for us, we're mom entrepreneurs, and the audience is mom entrepreneurs. We're busy. 12 o'clock, nap time, snacks, lunch. We're doing a whole bunch of stuff. That's right. Kendra.
My Freedom Cart is a one-stop shop online for all your household reusables and consumables, as well as toiletries. We're talking about toothpaste, body wash, skincare, makeup, snacks, and coffee. Laundry, dish soap, baby wipes, hair care, over 500 products at your fingertips. They have their own high-end line of vitamins, medicines, and supplements to keep your family and babies healthy. And if this wasn't enough for you to ditch things that are full of toxins, so these products are safe, toxics-free, made right here in America, and yes, like I said, toxic-free. Stop exposing yourself and your kiddos to harmful toxins inside the home and get everything you need affordably. You could do your shopping online and have all your home consumables sent right to your front door at Amazon prices, all without one set going to any cause that doesn't align with your values. So, are you in? Join our exclusive club today and start voting with your dollars while creating a toxic-free home and saving money. Every time you shop, a portion of your dollars go to support multiple pro-life foundations. P.S. We do not just love this company, but I am also a shopper. So go to myfreedomcart.com/mom and submit your info to join. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have a chance, stop by the website at lindamendable.com and join us over at Monetizing Mompreneurs Facebook group. I just want to say again, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening.